So it's very possible that Arctic ecosystems just would not look the way that they look today without birds. And it's actually very likely that they wouldn't look the way they look today. In addition to our amazing collection of adult bird fossils, we also have one of the best collections of baby bird fossils in the world. And what this tells us is that birds have been nesting in the Arctic of Alaska for at least 73 million years. And birds have only existed on Earth for 150 million years. So that means for nearly half the time that birds have existed on the planet, they have been nesting in the Arctic of Alaska. So the previous oldest evidence of polar bird nesting comes from the Eocene of Antarctica. It's about 46.5 million years old, and it's penguins, so it's a little bit expected. So our new stuff in the Arctic of Alaska extends the record of polar nesting by at least 25 million years, but up to 30 million years. So we found over 50 three-dimensionally preserved bird fossils that represent basically every component of the bird skeleton, which is really remarkable because in other places like Alberta, you might have 10 bird bones, but it's 10 of the same type of bone. So we might have 10 of the same shoulder bone. And one of the places where the Prince Creek really stands out is that we have representation of just about every bone in the bird skeleton.
The thing that makes the Prince Creek Formation so amazing is that formation preserves the northernmost dinosaurs on planet Earth. Usually through river processes, those bones and teeth would get concentrated in these little lenses of little deposits we call microsites. And those are the sites we targeted. Once we recognized what those sites look like, we were able to then selectively excavate them. And the way we did that was we did very detailed excavations in the field. And you can usually see little fossils, maybe a centimeter, maybe a little less in length or anything bigger, but most were small. But then there's little gems that you just can't see in the field. So we collect all of that sediment, throw it in buckets, bring it back to the lab.
And the big discoveries don't come until we're back in the lab and we can process all that sediment, which is a lot of work because we have to wash it all with soap and water. And then volunteers sit and look at every single grain under a microscope. And many of these grains are between 0.5 millimeter and 2 millimeters.
And they cumulatively spent hundreds and thousands of hours looking at every single grain under a microscope, looking to see if it was something biological, a tooth, a bone, a shell, plant material.
And the bird fossils that we have, that we described in this study, took over a decade to collect.
All of these over time really give us a picture of the broader ecosystem that was around 73 million years ago. If we didn't have these little small fossils sort of helping to fill out many of the gaps in the story, what we would know is that we have some trees, a forested environment, we've got bones of a couple of larger types of dinosaurs, and we would know about maybe 10% of the animals that were present. With the work we're doing, we're rounding that out and expanding that picture many, many-fold larger.
They're fossils, but they represent living, breathing animals. You know, these birds were nesting alongside dinosaurs. How cool is that?